What's going on, guys? Omar SBTV in this thing. Right now, you guys are looking at the Packer and the Cowboy highlights. That game was amazing. I can't even be mad about that game. I'm not a Cowboys or a Packer fan, but that game was just crazy good. But later on, I'm going to be showing the Falcons and the Seahawks game. Seahawks lost, which is depressing, but I can get over it. Wait till next season. I'm actually going to talk to you guys about why the Packers will not go to the Super Bowl this year. And everybody thinks that they will because they're such a hot team right now. And I see why people think they will, but I'm just going to break it down to you guys and tell you guys why they won't go to the Super Bowl this year. All right, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is basically one simple statistic, and it's that they went to the playoffs every year since they won their first Super Bowl, which was in 2011, which was the 2010 season. So technically 7 years ago, because the season is what brings you to the Super Bowl. Ever since then, they have not gone to one Super Bowl. They went to two conference championships, which they lost, but they lost those games, and they have not been to a Super Bowl since. I mean, could this change? Yes, but within 7 years, I mean, it doesn't look like nothing's going to change. We've seen them get this far and choke. I mean, we've all seen it, and I just don't know. I think they might choke against Falcons again this time. The second reason is actually a reason for the player, and that's because Gunter is their starting cornerback. He is their number one guy. He lacks top speed. He's not fast at one bit. He's not that. He doesn't have much agility. He makes up for it in size and length, how tall he is and all. But he's not consistent. He's very lackluster, and he's going to be going against Julio Jones. And Julio Jones is arguably the best receiver in the NFL right now. And most people say it is. I mean, he is one of the best receivers in the NFL right now. And going against one of the not so good cornerbacks is not going to do the Packers good. And I mean, there's just no consistency in it. And I'm not saying Gunter's terrible. It's just I don't think he has what it takes to go against some huge man like Julio Jones that is basically a veteran, and Julio Jones is just a beast, guys. I don't know if you guys don't understand where I'm coming at, but Gunter is not going to be able to cover that man, bro. He's not going to be able to cover him. It's not going to be good. And then another reason is the defense also lives and dies by takeaways. We all know that the Packers' defense is not nearly as good as the offense. If the defense was as good as the offense, you would have no issue. But the offense carries the Packers. Aaron Rodgers and Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams, they all carry the offense. They all carry the team to take them this far. Against the passing game, they allowed an average of 269 yards allowed per game at least. And the only team that did worse than that was the Saints. And I just don't, again, the Falcons have the best offense right now, it looks, in the playoffs, maybe besides the Patriots. So I don't think this whole number of 269 yards allowed per game is really good for the Packers. And I know the Packers struggle with injuries, but so does every other team. So that's not really an excuse. And often, if you guys didn't realize, the defense gets behind if the offense doesn't score early. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't score within the first two drives, they're usually going to lose. It's just, if you look at the games, they usually lose if they lose their first few possessions, and that's because the defense usually gets behind if Packers offense isn't doing good, and they can't carry on throughout the game. It's every game that the Packers have played in has been back and forth, and it's mostly because the offense carries the team against the other team's defense, but the Packers defense can't do much against other people's offense, so other people's offense are scoring on their defense, but then their offense is scoring on their defense. So basically, Green Bay can't really stop anybody else's offense, and it's just really difficult for them. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't score within the first few possessions, it's basically a loss. The defense can't come back on anything like that, that's for sure. And they're going to be facing a lot better competition. I'm not saying the Cowboys weren't good. I'm not saying that, who did they play? The Giants weren't good, but I'm just saying they're going against the Falcons now. The Falcons have been around for a while, and they're good all together. And they're just a well-rounded team. I mean, the Cowboys were a really good team, the best team in the regular season, actually, but they also had two rookies that never went to the playoffs like this before. Now think of it, Matt Ryan, and they've all been through this before. They've all done this before, and I don't know, it seems a little sketchy. And another reason why, as much as people say that Mike McCarthy is he's an amazing coach, don't get me wrong, but he is 8-7 playoff record with Hall of Famer quarterbacks like Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. 8-7. That should not be a thing. Mike McCarthy gets really hot and he just gets really angry real fast, especially in playoff games. And it will not do good for the Packers because as soon as their coach gets pissed off, they get pissed off. And it's not. People argue and say, hey, that's what football is about, getting fired up. But that's when they make irrational decisions. That's when Aaron Rodgers starts scrambling a little too long, gets sacked, starts throwing it out, starts throwing interceptions. And when you have people to work with like Brett Favre, and when Brett Favre had like Donald Driver and Greg Jennings, and even when Aaron Rodgers had Donald Driver and Greg Jennings, and you're the head coach and you're 8-7 playoff record with those people, come on, man. And now they don't even have Nelson right now, man. Like, come on. And another thing, and this is one of the more important things because this has to do with their offense, which is their killer out of their whole team, is Devontae Adams. Not only is Nelson injured, but Devontae Adams is also injured with an ankle injury that he had against the Cowboys. I think with that last catch, or maybe it was a little bit before that. But he has an ankle injury, and he's being held out of practice until Sunday, a day before the game. And even then, they don't know if he's going to be able to play. So if Adams can't play and Jordy can't play, who are you going to throw it to? Not Allison and Janice, because those two are on the injured list too. Their two wide receiver backups for those two players are also on the injured list. I don't think that they can't play, but they are on the injured list. They have some type of injury, and those are your backup receivers. So your two starting receivers, which are your main guys, that's what Aaron Rodgers does, is throw the ball, and your two backup receivers are injured. Like, I don't know how that's going to do for them, and especially if Adams can't play and Jordy can't play and those two injured secondaries are going to go in, that's just going to be rough, man. And I know they got Randall Cobb, but he's a slot receiver, guys. I mean, he really is a slot receiver. He's not someone to be doing streaks or anything like that or making game-winning plays. He's just there to get the first downs and get the yards that they need. And basically the last reason I think the Packers won't win against the Falcons is that the Falcons are at home, man. And as much as people say it doesn't matter and home field advantage is all a joke, it does. The Falcons are gonna go there to take their home field and run it down, and the Packers are just gonna get demolished by the fans. They're gonna go crazy. They're gonna boo and they're gonna cheer as loud as they can. It's crazy. So people say it doesn't matter, but it does. The fans are gonna go crazy, and it's gonna distract Green Bay a shit ton. I know the fans were crazy at Dallas too, but man, this is an NFC Championship game, and the Falcons aren't always here. So when they do get here, man, their fans go fucking crazy. Like, they go to the playoffs, but the championship, man, their fans go crazy. Falcon fans are crazy. I'm just going to add one more thing in here, and I don't know if you guys realize this. A lot of people might disagree with this, but Aaron Rodgers does not do good when he's behind in the game. Like, people say when his back is against the wall, he does good. But I say if the Falcons go 14-0 in the beginning of the game, Aaron Rodgers is not going to like that. And it's gonna lose his train of thought, and he's going to start making all those irrational decisions that he makes. And it seems like every time he throws a ball and someone doesn't catch it, even if it's his fault, he has to rip off his helmet and curse out and all that. He has no, he has no motherfucking chill, dude. This dude is crazy. This dude's a crazy white boy. Like, if someone doesn't catch his balls, he goes ballistic. He is the head of the offense. And I just don't think he's going to do it. I really just don't think the Packers are going to do it, in my personal opinion. He gets too hot, too fast, and when your quarterback is sitting there bitching and bitching and bitching, you're not going to want to play the way you want to play. It's going to get in your head too. All right, guys, so that was basically the reasons why the Packers won't win the Super Bowl, or not go to the Super Bowl, I mean. We'll see. I mean, the game's only 2 days away. We're going to see. But I hope you guys like this video. It's a little different. Obviously, I do vlogs and I do skits and stuff. But I like football, man. So when football season's around, I'm going to talk about it. You better believe that. I'll make a video about the Super Bowl too. But I think the Super Bowl actually might be the Patriots and the Falcons. As much as I hate the Patriots, Antonio Brown is not going to be in the Steelers game. So like this video if I should do a reason why the Steelers won't beat the Patriots, or why the Patriots won't beat the Steelers. Just comment below what I should do. And thank you guys so much for watching. Omar SBTV out of this thing. I'm a little sick, guys, so that's why I sound weird. See you guys later.